Hello everyone. So as you all can see, we are at Naniki Tyler, and this is fresh and pure water coming straight from the Kanneli rainforest. So today we'll be doing our video. So anyways, uh, so yeah, our video for today will be here. Hope you all enjoyed. Welcome back, Mr. Rasta, for another video. Today we will be talking about the action part of the standard operations. So give us a quick intro about it.
Right, Ashan, good to be back again in a different location, different environment now. So this element 8 talk about you plan and your support function, how you're going to implement. So that's the implementation activity we are going to talk here.
We'll start with operational planning. What does ISO 14001 expect here?
Under this element, they talk about what are the processes you implement. Like say, for example, under context analysis, you identify the significant impact areas. So how are you going to control those areas? And then your risk assessment, aspect impact evaluation, and then context, you identify the key areas. And then your legal monitoring part, legal, identification. So how are you going to implement, control those things? Say, for example, I'll take one example, if you have a ETP, effluent treatment plant, how you maintain the pH level, COD, BOD level. So that is where this element basically talk about the implementation part.
I've also heard about life cycle perspective. How does that fit in here?
Right. See, environmental management system, there are two aspects. One is control, one is influence part. So the life cycle assessment, it comes there. Say, for example, if you discard your waste from your factory, you can't just say, okay, I'm done my part. No. So you need to know what will happen to your waste. So that is about the life cycle part. You are responsible until it's completely destroyed or until it's completely degrade. So that where you try to understand, under life cycle. So there's a certain portion you control within your factory. Then after that, you try to influence that part. Say waste, your waste management system. Who's going to manage the waste and what he's going to do with that. So entire life cycle part until from the beginning to until it's finalization. You need to consider entire circle. That's what the standard required.
That's a good point. So what about emergencies?
So ISO standard talk about management of your aspect, impact evaluation, legal monitoring, everything. So this standard asks a question like, what if something goes wrong? Say for example, if there's a chemical spillage, that would be an environmental emergency. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to manage it? So standard required, that's again based on your aspect impact evaluation. So identify the emergencies, possible emergencies, and when it's required, try to do a mock emergency drill. Say for example, if your factory has a lot of chemicals, if there's a spillage and if there's a chance of contamination, your team should be there to manage it, how fast they can act, and then do they know the methodology to manage it. And then even if you go beyond that, if there's a fire, your occupational health and safety basically talk about the fire management system. But after that, how you're going to manage your debris, or the water, how you're going to control the water you use for fire. So those things comes from the emergency management plan.
Thank you, Mr. Rasta. So what would your final advice be for our viewers?
So final advice would be like, this is very important activity, because you basically work with your team, right? So the initial top part can be managed by the top management, but this is where your operational team started to get involved, your ETP operator, emergency team, everybody started to implement like this. So this will be actually an implementation part. So this is very important thing, this is how you are basically taking to the next level, your operational level.
Thank you, Mr. Rasta, for your time and effort, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you, Arashan, for inviting me. And then this is a nice environment, and you can see even birds, the butterflies. So with this environment, I really enjoy this program. Thank you for having me here.